Welcome to Jericho Beach Park, aka Bunny Heaven.
Vancouver, known for its beauty, snow-capped mountains, and bustling streets, also has a bit of a dark secret. Who would have thought that Canada would have its very own Bunny Beach? That's right, one of Vancouver's most popular seasides is inhabited by hundreds of stray domestic rabbits. And as someone who has visited Rabbit Island in Japan, I knew I had to pay it a visit and try to understand why on earth this was happening. From the research I've done, it's almost impossible to trace back the origin of when bunnies first started appearing at Jericho, but this is for certain. They didn't get there on their own. It's a clear case of dumped pet rabbits that have procreated to the hundreds. Tons of TikToks and news articles romanticize the bunnies, without fully understanding the tragedy behind it all.
Okay, so behind me here, actually, no lies, behind me there is where all the bunnies hang out. So they're all feral rabbits. At one time there was a colony of domestic rabbits that people presumably dumped, and then over time they've bred and they've become part of the local ecosystem that's here. And so there's always kind of a core colony of rabbits that you'll recognize. Like, I come back here once a month and I always recognize them here. And then you'll see a few that are clearly recent additions. So let's go meet a couple of them.
How many bunnies do you think there are?
It's hard to say. I've seen a couple of articles that say anywhere between 100 and 300.
Whoa.
But I imagine there's a lot more that just don't come out.
They're just part of like the wildlife?
Yeah, and I mean, they've become part of the local ecosystem, so they live here full time. And
do people feed them? How do they eat?
People feed them. You're not technically supposed to feed them, and people feed them things that you shouldn't really feed.
I feel like
rabbits.
I can tell by the grass
that rabbits are here.
Yeah, because there's barely any grass.
Yeah, rabbits.
The depleted grass reminded me so much of my trip to Rabbit Island in Japan, in which the sole population of rabbits ravaged most of the green life.
You can see there really isn't grass here on the island. Whatever this is here has been eaten to the core already by the bunnies.
Yeah, rabbits and geese. But there are coyotes in the area, there are owls and other birds of prey, and so they become the natural predators of the rabbits. And then of course, obviously some get hit by cars, and I'm sure that some get attacked by local cats and dogs. There are these signs here that say do not feed or touch the wildlife. People come down here all the time. Like, whenever I come down here, there's always people who have like a big 2-kilo bag of carrots and they're feeding that to the bunnies. And so I try wherever I can to sort of gently tell people, if you're going to feed them, these are some better foods that you could be giving them that are more nutritionally sound.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm not going to be able to make a huge impact, but hopefully it helps a little. And they all seem to be part of that core colony. And you always recognize a few. Like, there's one that I call Bigwig, like from Watership Down.
Yeah.
And he's got a super square face and he's got kind of a roughed up nose. I always recognize him. He's like a very square rabbit. And he always comes out first. This whole area in here, there's tons of them, and they just come out of the bushes once they see people here.
Oh my god. It's definitely injured.
This is Bigwig.
Oh, hi.
Hi, little one. Hi. Oh, you're all wet. I didn't bring my eye drops for you today, I'm sorry. Little one. Hi. Hi. Want some cilantro? Yeah, there you go. There you go. How's your nose, buddy?
Alright, so we're here at Jericho Beach in Vancouver, Canada, where there's an overpopulation of stray bunnies that have been inhabiting this park for quite some time, and they've procreated, and
Now it's known for being a home to all these bunnies. It actually really reminds me of Rabbit Island in Japan. Hello!
There's one coming up behind you.
Come here, come get your food. Come here. Come here. Come here, come get your food. Come on. This one's pregnant. Oh, she's making a nest. Uh-oh, so this is, now there's gonna be even more bunnies. Hey bunnies, come here.
No, I don't have any.
Over here.
You gotta go see the other Lorelei.
Over here, buddies. Right here.
They do.
Come here, bunnies. Oh my god, this one's so hungry.
One thing that's important to remember is that rabbits are very territorial, which can lead to fighting. In this case, the rabbits are in constant competition to secure their share of resources within this environment. That's why you'll notice many of the rabbits have injuries. You can even see here some of the rabbits are getting quite feisty over the cilantro we brought. Now you're probably wondering how these rabbits have survived all these years given how territorial they are. The truth is that all of these rabbits have claimed their various territories already. So any rabbits that are not part of a particular colony know not to cross into those territories. But even within these colonies, there is a hierarchical system in which the rabbits can still fight with each other over dominance and resources. That's why it's so important in the domestic bunnyhood life to not introduce your rabbit to foreign rabbits without them really being in a neutral territory or bonded properly. This is something most people aren't aware of, that rabbits don't automatically like each other.
They don't have RHDV2.
I mean, they're definitely not vaccinated.
They won't let you pet them, huh?
I tend to avoid it. Sometimes when I come down here, I'll bring like eye drops and stuff because some of them often have clearly really bad eye issues going on.
Now, I also want to make the disclaimer that I know there are signs that say we're not supposed to feed the bunnies. Obviously, we were very careful about the kind of food we brought, and most of those signs are directed toward the general public because the general public does not really know what the rabbit diet is, and so they wind up feeding them junk food or sugary foods, but furthermore, leaving foods behind that could attract other critters or animals that the park doesn't want to have, for instance, rats. So we specifically brought leafy greens, which we hand fed to them, and we didn't just leave them out on the grass. And also, it's really important to not leave any food out in the open because when a bunny is out in the open, it makes them a target for predators. Also, guys, a lot of these rabbits are sick and they have infections and whatnot, so it's really encouraged not to pet them. Now, what is the solution, you might ask? What do we do here? The truth is, I don't even have the answers, and I didn't have the answers when I visited Rabbit Island, but I know that this is a problem that is a global problem. There are so many places in which dumped bunnies are just procreating into the hundreds or thousands. At that rate, they almost become impossible to catch. You can't catch all of them. And even if you think you did, you probably have left some behind that will keep procreating. Also, I'm not really sure what the city of Vancouver has to say about this, or if they've even tried to fix this problem. What's frustrating for me as an observer is the double standard. If these were puppies or kittens, it would be a different story. People would be outraged, they would be alarmed. But because they're bunnies, it seems like nobody bats an eyelash. I think one of the reasons for this is people think that these bunnies are wild, and they're not. They're not native to this park. They are clearly of the domesticated species. They've just become feral at this point. So what I'm gonna do here is link down below in the description all of the resources I can think of, links to rabbit rescues in the Vancouver area in Canada, if any of you guys can think of what could be done, please comment down below. Thanks for watching as usual.